There's one thing that separates top-selling KDP books from the rest. It's not a secret keyword strategy, it's not running ads, and it's not having the flashiest cover design either. Yet when you look at the books consistently ranking on the first page of Amazon, they all have this one thing in common. Most publishers overlook it because they think that it doesn't matter, or they're just too lazy to set it up. But that decision alone is costing them sales every single day. You know Amazon's look inside feature? Well, it doesn't always work, which means customers have no way of knowing what's inside your book. And that's where this one tool becomes a difference between selling a handful of copies or building a book that can sell every single day. So in this video, I'm going to break down what it is, why it matters, and how you can use it to instantly make your KDP book better and separate yourself from the majority of your competition. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Jeff, and this channel is all about becoming self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. So if this sounds like you, feel free to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get right to it. Now, the best way to show you this is just to show you some examples of these best-selling books that are all doing the same exact thing. So as you see, this is an ABC coloring book. It doesn't really matter what type of book it is, but look at this, #1 bestseller. This one has a book ranking of 112 overall, so a very, very high-performing book. And if we scroll down where the A+ content is supposed to be, we can see exactly that. This publisher has put very simple images here of the interior and basically just showcased a little bit about the book, something that if you go back up here, if we go to the read sample portion here, sometimes the customer is not going to click this button and they're not going to be able to see this. But if we actually go through it, you can see there are some pages here of the interior, some here, and then also the back cover. But compared to actually going to the A+ content, you can see just how more professional this is, how much more of a branding element there is here. And you can put more information here about the book. For example, right here, this book contains 100+ coloring pages, so on and so forth. And then even more descriptions right here. You can even put images of the interiors half colored in, just like this, or these activities that are actually completed. Now, here's another example of a book that's selling very, very well. It doesn't have the bestseller badge, but look at the bestsellers rank of 1,180. Look at all these sales, over 4,000 sales per month. Now, let's go ahead and look at the sample. So you have your book belongs to page. You have one interior here, another one, and this might be good enough for most people, and the back cover. But if we scroll down here to look at the A+ content, you can see just how much more professional this looks. Now, this is also on the back cover, right? However, look at this. It shows 11" by 8.5 inches, the cover of the book. And then here is one that's half colored in, simple and fun patterns, more descriptions, more interiors, more descriptions, and even look at this module right here to actually boost even more of your book's sales, because this is where you can basically add other listings of your books where people can go ahead and add them to their cart right away, or they can go ahead and check out the actual listings here. You can go ahead and cross-sell your books like crazy here. This is another method that you can implement that will actually boost a lot of your book's sales. And then here's another example. This one's ranked at 902. I'm pretty sure this has the bestseller badge, but it disappeared somewhere here. But if we go down to the A+ content, you can see very simple A+ content. There are some colored images here, and then the interiors of the blank pages right here, and some more interiors. Now, looking at the sample, you can see that there's actually no interiors here of the book's actual coloring pages. The best that we can do is the back cover, which if the publisher didn't put any of their coloring pages on the back cover, well, the customer is not going to know what is inside this book. And that's going to be a big problem in trying to actually land sales. Another example here of a #1 bestseller. This one is 2,902 BSR. And usually, sometimes you get 1 page, 2 pages of the interior. This one 1 page of the interior, 2 pages of the interior, 3 pages of the interior. So this one is a good sample on Amazon, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. Sometimes they only show a few pages and it misses out on the actual coloring pages. That's why we've learned to put these coloring pages on the back cover for your customers. Now, if we go to the A+ content, you can see very simple, just a few pages, 8.5 by 11 inches, the total pages, and then just not anything too crazy, but this also really helps the customer because you add a level of professionalism and branding to your listing, so it makes it seem more legit. One more example right here, #1 bestseller. This ranked at 2,092. Look at the 30-day sales, over 3,000 per month. And if we go to the read sample page here, let's scroll to the first page. Well, there actually isn't. There's only the book belongs to page and the color test page. And that's why a lot of the publishers, we will actually really do this and put some of the interiors on the back cover. And here's one that's actually colored in. So when you go to the A+ content, well, this is where everything is at. This is not anything too crazy. You have one interior, two interiors, and a mock-up of the book, and then some description here, a few more interiors, more descriptions, a few more interiors, nothing too crazy. You really don't even have to do this much work for A+ content. You could really just get away with 1 or 2 images with some interiors, and that's really good enough to get your customers to buy your book. Now let's compare that to this book right here. Now this is a book that should be having some seasonal demand right about now, but look at the bestsellers rank 388. Now looking at the actual book, it looks pretty good. And if we go to the sample, we can see the interior is actually pretty decent, but the sample actually doesn't show any of the interiors. And on the back cover, there's a few of the interiors that are fully colored in. And that's really all the customer gets, because when you go to the A+ content, well, it's completely missing. So this is where this book, this publisher is cutting it short. It's kind of like you have this great book, but you don't want it to do well because you don't want to include A+ content, which really will sell this book even more. And it could potentially put this bestsellers rank even lower if they just implemented very simple A+ content. So let's actually get into how to set all this up. Here's the good news. It's not complicated and you don't need to design anything crazy. In fact, the most effective way to actually use this feature is also the simplest. Just showcase some of your best interior pages. Give customers a clear idea of what they're buying and they'll feel confident hitting that buy button. So let me show you how to do this. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to head over to your Kindle Direct Publishing dashboard. And on the top, you're going to come up with these 4 options. You want to click on marketing. It's going to take you to this page right here. And as you can see, there it is, A+ content. This is the area that we're going to focus on right now. Now, before we actually go and start creating A+ content, it's actually good to look at some of the guidelines here. So for all intents and purposes, we won't really be needing to follow a lot of these guidelines because we're just showcasing some of the interiors. We're not going to be going in pricing, promotional details. We're not going to be including customer reviews, no time-sensitive information, and no publication quotes. But to be safe, you should always read the guidelines when it comes to A+ content. And then also here are some examples of what your A+ content could potentially look like. These are going to be a little bit more complicated, a little bit more intricate, more words here, but this is not what we're doing. We're really just going to do something like this where we have a few pictures. That's all our customers need. Now go ahead and choose your marketplace. Now for most of you, you're going to choose Amazon.com and then click here, manage A+ content. If you already have A+ content, obviously if you don't, it's going to be a different button. Now you're going to come up with all of your A+ content here. As you can see, I have 118. Now I'm going to make this very super simple for you. Just go here, start creating A+ content. It's going to take you to this page where you can add modules. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to name our A+ content. So for this example, I'm just going to name it Jeff Set Life Coloring Book and then add a module. Now, here are all the modules that we can go after. The one that I usually work with is going to be this one right here, the standard image and light text overlay. Now, what I typically do is for this module, I like to create some type of branding image for my book. And so I don't actually put anything into the headline or the body text because if you don't put anything here, it's just not going to show. Now, when I add the background image, it says here, this is going to be 970 by 300 pixels. So if we go over to Canva and we do the custom size of 970 by 360, we create that design. And now this is going to be where we're going to design our first module. Now you could just, if you wanted to for your A+ content, you can go to design here and you can look for a template that you like because this is just A+ content. You can really find anything here that works. So I'm going to go with this look right here. I'm going to go ahead and extend this over here. But what I want to do is, because I saw this with the other A+ content, I'm going to do a corner rounding here, and I'm going to go maybe of 30. And so when we upload this onto Amazon KDP, it's not going to show this white part right here. And then obviously I'm going to change this out. I'm going to do Jeff set life. Coloring books, let's ungroup that. Go ahead and copy this, put it over here. Like I said, you don't need to do anything fancy. If you wanted to add more fancy things, you could look for another design. You could do maybe cartoon and find a background here that maybe you want to change this background for. So if I go ahead and delete all these, and let's go and move this down here. Then I can add an effect here, that. I'm going to put the blue on top here, go to position. I'm going to put it to the back right here. Take this, and then I'm going to delete this background. And we're just going to move some stuff around. So let's say this is your first module. Now I use this as a place to do some branding, but you could also just go straight into putting your interiors on this actual page. But whatever you do, you can go share it, download this as a PNG. Now you can put the size all the way up. I believe this has a 2 MB limit. So just make sure you limit the file size and then download it. And actually before that, I forgot, you want to go ahead and go back here, download. You want to click this transparent background, make sure this is checked, because it's going to allow us to basically download this without this white space on the corners here. Now on Amazon, we're just going to go ahead and click here, upload an image, look for that banner, and there it is. Now we want to add some text here for the image, and as you can see, here is the alt text. So examples of keywords to be used: blender on kitchen counter next to fruit, yogurt, orange juice, and smoothie glass. It doesn't appear on the product detail page, but it's available on screen reader applications for some users. So this one, since it's just a banner, we're going to do Jeff set life coloring books banner. That's it. Now we can do tags if you want to do tags. And this is just for your future use so that you can actually keep track of everything that you make. I'm just going to leave it blank. Let's go ahead and move me up here and then click add and then add again. And as you can see, it comes up right here. Now, if we go to preview, this is for mobile. Now you click on desktop, this is what it's going to look like. Now keep in mind, this is just a preview. When you actually see it on the A+ content, is actually going to upload at a higher quality than this. Go back to editor. Now we add one more module because that's really all we need. And for this one, I'm going to use this one, standard image header with text. Go ahead and click that. As you can see, you can upload something bigger. This one's going to be 970 by 600. So if we go back to Canva, let's go do another file, create new design. And then we're going to do custom size here. This was 970 by 600, I believe. And then search anything in the templates. I'm just going to look for here and see if there's anything that we can use that will work well with our current design. And really, you don't really need any of that. I'm just gonna go ahead and use the same blue right here. Look at this right here and copy this. Go back to this one and then put an element here. Let's go ahead and choose the square shape right here and then go ahead and make sure you do the corner rounding here to 30 to match the other one. Put it in the corners and stretch it out to the other corner. Now, under color, we want to add a new color. Down here, we want to paste that color in, and then there you go. Now, all we want to do is put the interiors of our coloring pages in here. We could put 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to collage it all onto here. And if you remember from my previous video where I used the coloring book prompts on ChatGPT and produced these images, I told you that you can use these colored images as part of your A+ content. You can use them side by side. So here's the actual coloring page and then the full-on colored image. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So download all of these images. Now, if you don't have these coloring book prompts and you want access to it, I'll leave the link down below. You can also watch my previous video that I made to this one that goes in depth on how to actually use these prompts so that you can create these coloring pages and include them into your coloring books. So if you want to watch that video, I'll leave the marker up top right now. Now I've uploaded those onto Canva and we can just put them on the screen like this. Let's start with this one right here. So what we can do from here is we can add a corner rounding and we can make it 30. Same with this one. And we can also use a stroke to add here. I'm just going to do 5. Same with this one right here. Let's do 5. And it can be as simple as that. Really, this is all you need to do with your A+ content. You can do this. You can make it more fancy. You can put it up here. You can kind of position this backwards like this so they can see that. You can make it smaller and you can add maybe a couple more here. So we can do another one, go back to uploads and use this one right here. Then this, put the corner rounding on both of them. Same with the stroke of 3, or was it 5? Make it smaller. And then we can put this over here like this, position this backwards like that. And then we could even do one more. Or here we could add a text, a heading here, and we could say how many coloring pages. So we could do 40 coloring pages. Just find a font, effects. Let's go ahead and add a white. Let's go ahead and do this, but instead let's make this bigger, as big as we can, maybe 140 down. We can put it right here, just like that. Effects, duplicate it. Let's go ahead and remove this 40. I think it'll be cleaner this way, and just use it on this one. We can go ahead and add this thickness like that. Put it like, and then it could be as simple as this. This is really all your customers ever need. And once you're done with this, you can go share, download. I usually put the size all the way up and then I limit it. So I think it's 2 megabytes for these modules. Make sure it's transparent background and then download. Now back on the actual A+ content, click on here, go ahead and click here, upload your image. Use this one right here, uploading, and there you go right there. Enter your image keywords. So this is going to be coloring book interior pages, and then this is going to be submarine, kids, unicorn, fantasy. And then once again, let me move myself up here, add it. Add that, and it's as simple as that. Now when we go to up here, where is that preview? Right here. Now I do notice right here I made a mistake, so let me go back to Canva, and it didn't actually, let me see. If I go back to editor, let's go ahead and see if I did make a mistake here. Delete that, upload image, and there it is right there. Now I guess when you're using the standard image and light text overlay, even when you do the corner rounding here on the corners, it's still going to show up just like this. So just let that be. But as you can see, it works with this module right here. Now, this is really all you need. When we go to preview and we look at the desktop version, it actually looks pretty good, pretty professional here. There is one thing that you could do. You go to editor, you can go here and add a module, and you can go ahead and add this one right here, standard comparison chart. This is how you can cross-sell your other books to your customers. All you have to do is enter the ASIN of your book's listing here. You can do up to 5 books. Add your image here. So you can go back to Canva, create a 150 by 300. So go to custom here. This is 150 by 300. And then all you want to do is take your book cover, and you're going to have some white space. It's going to be the same process. Just hit share, download, and make sure you do transparent background. And for this one, I just use the standard 150 by 300. Download this, and then just upload it here. Click upload image. And then there it is right there. Enter your image keyword. So for this, I'll just put animal story, giraffe, elephant, add it here. Enter the title of your book, whatever the listing title is usually what I use. Now you only have 80 characters here, so you're gonna probably have to cut off some of your subtitle, but I would basically copy and paste the title that you have, put it in here. And you can do this with up to 5 books, and you can add metrics here. So for example, you can put age ranges. You could do book type, And then here, you can just click here if it's good for 1-year-olds. Whatever the book type is, you can enter it here. So this one, let's say it's a coloring book. And once again, you can put up to 5 books here that you can cross-sell. You can highlight a book if you want the customer to notice a book more than the others. And then once you go up here to preview, you can see kind of what it looks like. And just imagine having 5 books here that your customers can look at and potentially buy more of your books. And this is basically all you need to do for A+ content. You don't have to make it super hard. You don't have to make it super complicated. And then all you would need to do is apply your ASINs and then review and submit. And once it's done and approved, it will apply to your listings as soon as possible. So there it is, the one thing that consistently separates top-selling KDP books from the rest, and that is using Amazon's A+ content. Most publishers will skip this, but the ones who take the time to set it up, they win because their book looks more professional, the perceived value goes up, and they instantly stand out from the competition. If you want to learn how to put all of this together and start turning your niche ideas into profitable books, your next step is to grab my KDP Royalty Roadmap. I'll link it down below. It's a complete walkthrough of the process that I've used to build a 6-figure publishing business. So if this video helped you see what's possible, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.